At the dawn of the industrial age, when people still trusted horses more than machines, one man dared to imagine a world driven by something entirely new, an engine. His name was Karl Benz, the visionary who built the world's first automobile and set humanity in motion forever. Karl Friedrich Benz was born on November 25, 1844, in Mühlberg, Germany. His father, Johann Georg Benz, was a locomotive driver, a man who worked with the power of steam. But when Karl was just 2 years old, his father passed away in a tragic accident. Left alone to raise him, his mother, Josephine Benz, was determined that her son would not only survive but succeed. She sacrificed everything to give him an education, a decision that would change history. From an early age, Karl was fascinated by movement and machinery. He dreamed of creating engines that could run without rails, without animals, powered only by human imagination and engineering. At just 19 years old, he graduated from the University of Karlsruhe as a mechanical engineer, brilliant, ambitious, and ready to change the world. But the road ahead was not smooth. In 1871, Karl opened a small iron foundry with his fiancée, Bertha Ringer, in the city of Mannheim. Together, they worked tirelessly, even through failure and debt. Money was scarce, creditors were harsh, and most people thought Benz's dreams were foolish. Yet through every hardship, Bertha stood by him, not just as a wife, but as his partner in invention. Benz devoted himself to creating a small, lightweight internal combustion engine, something the world had never seen before. For years, he built and rebuilt, experimenting with parts, materials, and fuels. Finally, after countless failures in 1885, his dream came alive: the Benz Patent-Motorwagen, the world's first true automobile. It looked unlike anything the world had ever seen. A 3-wheeled carriage made of steel tubing and wooden wheels, powered by a 1-cylinder gasoline engine. It could travel at 10 miles per hour, slow by today's standards, but faster than any horse could dream of without rest. On January 29, 1886, Karl Benz patented his invention under the name Motorwagen. It was the first car in history, the birth certificate of the automobile age. But even then, few believed in it. Many laughed, calling it noisy, useless, and dangerous. Others said it would never replace horses. Then came the woman who would prove them all wrong, Bertha Benz. In 1888, without telling her husband, Bertha took their invention and embarked on a bold journey, the world's first long-distance car trip. With her 2 sons by her side, she drove from Mannheim to Pforzheim, a journey of 65 miles. Along the way, she stopped at a pharmacy to buy Ligrin, making it the first gas station in history. When the car's brakes began to fail, she asked a shoemaker to nail leather onto the wooden blocks, inventing the first brake pads. And when a fuel line clogged, she cleaned it with her hat pin, a small act of genius that kept the dream alive. By the time she reached Pforzheim, crowds had gathered to see the miraculous carriage that moved without horses. News spread across Europe, and suddenly, the impossible had become undeniable. Karl Benz's invention was no longer a curiosity, it was the future. His company, Benz & C, became one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the world. In later years, it would merge with another German company founded by Gottlieb Daimler, creating the legendary brand we know today, Mercedes-Benz. Karl Benz lived long enough to see his dream spread across continents, from dusty German roads to highways and cities around the globe. When he passed away in 1929, the world he left behind had changed forever. The automobile had become more than a machine. It was freedom, speed, and progress. The power to go anywhere, anytime, carried by the spark of one man's imagination and the courage of one woman's faith. From a small workshop in Mannheim to the highways of modern civilization, Karl and Bertha Benz didn't just build the first car. They built the foundation of the modern world. If you enjoyed this story of Karl and Bertha Benz, subscribe to Echoes of Greatness for more legends and untold stories of history.